they never cease to surprise me, because when we announced our cruise, the Emo's Not Dead cruise, we had like a 9-month game plan on how to sell it out. And we're like, we hope we can sell out a cruise. And we sold out in the first 24 hours.
Hey man, this is a big day for you. While we're chatting, I mean, people are seeing this later, but we're chatting now. And just earlier today, you announced a pretty big project.
Yeah, dude. So it's funny because my whole team's panicking right now behind the scenes, because essentially we have been wanting to make a full-length album. Okay. We've released As Your Broken Hero through the E&D umbrella. We've released 2 original songs already. And we're like, hey, the fans want more. Let's try to make a full album. But how are we going to fund it? We're independent. We don't have a label. So we decided to do a Kickstarter where people can just pre-order the album or pre-order merch. And our goal was $50,777. And we're already at almost 90K in the first 4 hours.
Dude,
so we crushed the goal, and it's going. And the E&D army is proving to be strong. And like, I'm so fired up because obviously you start with your goal. Like, our bare minimum to make the album, just the album, is like 50 grand.
Okay.
And then anything over that is like, now we can get now we can get bigger features. Okay. Now we can do a music video for every song. Now we can maybe go on tour if we hit the 150K mark. So like, there are certain marks that we need to hit in order to do it all. But like, the fact that in the first few hours we're at like almost 90K is just freaking crazy. I'm fired. I'm on cloud 9 right now.
I looked at it like, I think, man, I happened to catch it like minutes after you posted it, and I looked, and it was like, it had been like 15 minutes and you were already at like $2,000, $3,000. And yeah. I was like, that's a lot really fast for, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's funny because I love the E&D fans so much. Like, obviously I've been doing these videos for like the last few years, but they never cease to surprise me, because when we announced our cruise, the Emo's Not Dead cruise, we had like a 9-month game plan on how to sell it out. And we're like, we hope we can sell out a cruise. And we sold out in the first 24 hours.
Golly.
And so I just have the best fans in the world. Honestly, that's what it comes down to, man. I have this great like community of people who support me and love the scene and love what I'm doing. And I'm just lucky to have them.
It's so interesting. And you're doing the cruise again this year too, right? That's going to happen.
Yeah, so it's not technically this year; it's the beginning of next year. Okay, so it's a year and a couple months out. That's kind of how we want to space it, but it skips this year, and it's February of 2024.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's funny what you talk about, like the scene and community and all that. And I was having my wife and I were listening to the Emo's Not Dead playlist last night while we were hanging out, and just talking about, you know, our youth and the scene and all that. And I was much more part of it than she was, but she was adjacent. And it's so interesting when you consider like that term and the idea that like the scene really was this sort of community, not a genre. The genres exist within the scene, and you would find any number of people at a dashboard show just as easily as you'd find them at a 303 show or a throwdown show. Like that was totally normal to see all the same crowds. And you don't have that with like any other sort of musical subculture. That just doesn't happen.
Bro, the scene is really special for that reason. Exactly, is like when like you can't define what band qualifies as emo, right? But however, within the scene, you have Blink 182 and you have like Bring Me the Horizon, right? Yeah. And they both fit perfectly in the scene. Yeah. And one's heavy and one's straight like pop punk. Yeah. But like you'll see people at both shows and people who love both bands. So it's really, man, man, I love your point, because it's a very interesting community to be involved in.
It is. It really is. It's crazy. And like, and the way that it's sort of evolved too over these years, and now you're getting a lot more sort of hip hop blended pop punk scene music. You got bands like Magnolia Park and gosh, there's tons out there. But what I found interesting about that concept too, though, is that's not new either, because back in like the early 2000s, I mean, bands like Mest and to an extent, I mean, this is maybe a weird one, but Thousand Foot Crutch were doing pop punk hip hop sort of blended scene emo kind of stuff for, you know, for a couple of years. And so it's interesting to see how all of that cycles back around, but also there's still a lot of originality.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, like, so I haven't, you mentioned one of the bands there that I've heard of them, but like, I haven't dove in to any of the newer bands and newer music in the scene yet.
Sure.
I'm kind of just stuck back in like the 2000s. I'm just kind of stuck there. Yeah. And like one of my business partners, Gavin, he does like my day-to-day stuff for E&D. And he's constantly is like, dude, he goes, you need to start listening and learning the new bands. And I'm like, I know, but I like Taking Back Sunday. Like, but it's funny because there are so many like amazing, newer bands in the scene. And I just constantly go and revisit the old nostalgic bands and songs that I loved. And I'm having so much trouble jumping ship from that in a weird way. So like, I'm really clinging on to it.
No, it's comfort. Like, it's what we know. It's that familiarity, and it brings you back to a place sort of mentally and I think you could say emotionally, spiritually. Yes. It brings you back to a place that was a really like high time for you. And it's not dissimilar to, you know, when we were kids and you'd have the, like, you know, the classic rock dads, you know, out there in their REO Speedwagon t-shirts, and we were like, oh man, come on. But I mean,
that's us now.
It is. I mean, the scene is classic rock at this point. People don't like to hear that. They're like, it's not true. And I'm like, look, Every Time I Die's first album came out like 20 years ago or more than that. Like, this, we are the rock dads now.
No, we are the rock dads, bro. I think They're Only Chasing Safety by Under Oath is now 20 years old. A lot of these albums are 20 years old. I think Silverstein's out. Like, dude,
Discovering the Waterfront.
Dude, we're there, man.
Yeah,
these are classics.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you like? I think that there are some certain I think there are some specific classics, ones that like you just absolutely go back to. Tell All Your Friends or Only Chasing Safety.
Two of my top. Yeah.
Right. I mean, what would you say are some other like all time? These are scene albums, top to bottom. This is what everybody.
I think I'm drawing a blank on The Used for absolutely.
Oh man, the first album. Yeah.
Yes. The Used first album. Absolutely. You nailed both of mine. They're Only Chasing Safety and Tell All Your Friends I'm constantly going back and playing it. Yeah. I can listen to the full album front to back and love it. Yeah. On a bit of the popular side, I love Ocean Avenue. The Ocean Avenue the whole album is just fantastic. Obviously you can't forget Blink. I feel like, you know, Blink has so many. Like, I think 3 of their albums are just all time. So yeah, I mean, but if I had to give my top 2, I would say They're Only Chasing Safety and Tell All Your Friends are probably my top 2.
Yeah, those are special. I think I always try to think like I'll sit down with my like friends or whatever, and I'll be like, what are the classic songs? Like, what are the number 1 songs? And I'm like, well, Cute Without the E is like the song. Like, that is the scene song, like hands down.
Yep.
But you know, I think on the heavier side, like, you got to give some credit to Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste by Norma Jean, because that song, like, as soon as you get that, as soon as you hear that, what? I mean, everybody's just like,
bro. And Norma Jean is just they're iconic. They're iconic. Like, they are. I kind of feel like they'd be considered like an OG originator of their style, right? And like the band. Long story short, the band that got me into the scene and into emo and screamo music were my friends. They were in a band called Reclaim the Fallen, and their favorite bands that they were influenced by were Norma Jean and Emery and Under Oath, right? Oh, so like, they introduced me to those bands. And yeah, like their band Reclaim the Fallen was playing shows and 2001, and they loved. I mean, was Norma Jean's big album like 98,
99,
99, something around
2000? I mean, it was right in there. Yeah, it was right in that early Martyr. Yeah.
They're the OGs, right? They're one of the
They are.
OGs that other bands looked up to and obviously created this movement.
I agree. And have never missed. Like when you talk consistency, album to album, even throughout the years, like those dudes have absolutely never missed. I saw them live. I've seen them live so many times, but the last time I saw them was right before the pandemic. It would have been 2019. I'm pretty sure. And they played, was like Gideon opened for them, and I can't remember who else was playing, but dude, the energy was insane. It was like seeing them in like 04. Like nothing had changed, man. Like they were still they
still absolutely rocked.
They do. They just annihilate stages, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm just gonna probably just keep talking about all.
Yeah, no, talking about Norma Jean. No,
we're doing a real like Chris Farley show thing here. Hey, remember when when you guys made that really good album?
I mean, we both geek out on this shit. We both love it. No, but like for me, so on the E&D cruise, I had obviously Under Oath was one of the bands, and that's one of the first bands that I fell in love with in that genre. And dude, they're just as good, if not better, today. Like, like I can't believe how damn good their live show is because they truly care. They care about it, and they give it their all every single time. And it's unfortunate, but some of these bands out there are just they're just lazier now. Yeah. And I'm not even going to name names for the sake of controversy, but like I've seen a couple of my like heroes that are live to where I don't want to even go see their live show again because it was that bad. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, your album rocks, but you're that lazy on stage. I don't want to see it again. Here's some hints. When we were young, one of these bands played there, and woof.
Oh man,
it was rough.
It wasn't good. But you know what? I think you mentioned when we were young, and I think that what happened with the Emo's Not Dead cruise and with when we were young, I mean, is a real sign of like who's sort of what generation is I don't want to say like in control or whatever right now culturally, but the fact that you've got countless people who grew up on the scene that it wasn't really noticed at the time. There wasn't really this like the Used should get a lot more credit than they do. Those guys brought the scene much more sort of to the mainstream than any other band really had at that time. If we're not talking about like pop punk, Blink, and that kind of stuff, we're talking about more sort of traditional, like playing in basements and like Unitarian churches kind of bands. Like we're talking about those kind of bands. Like the Used really were the ones to do that. But with the rise of this, like I don't know what to call it. This nostalgia. This is the rise of nostalgia for that 20 years ago, those moments and those scenes and those bands. It's interesting to see how huge it still is, because I could think of some indie rock bands from the early 2000s that wouldn't do near the numbers that
I have a theory behind this. Because it seems to be bigger than ever and more exposed than ever. But so many people back then were closet emo fans because it was kind of, if you went to a high school, it was kind of frowned upon to be the guy wearing black skinny jeans and eyeliner and painting your nails. Like it almost felt a little bit more like outcast, and people didn't want to feel like an outcast. So a lot of people kind of hid their inner love for wanting to wear black skinny jeans, for liking the Used and Under Oath and, these bands. So I think that like now we're all adults and no one gives a shit. And we're like, you know what I'm saying? And we're like, I fuck with that music. That's my shit. And like, we're all like, let's go to this festival together. Like I don't think anyone's hiding their love for it anymore. It's just full on like, we loved the shit when we were younger. Now we don't care about loving it, and here we are. That's kind of how I feel a little bit.
No, I think you're right. I think it's interesting too, because like I think one of the things that for me was a real clue that like it had spanned what I knew in like my little world was when I discovered Rustin Kelly and he was doing the whole dirt emo branding, right? Dirt emo. He grew up on emo music, but he's a country musician. And
I'm looking him up.
Yeah, no, He's phenomenal. He has an album, an EP called the Dirt Emo EP, Volume 1 that you should check out.
Rustin Kelly?
Rustin Kelly, that's him right there.
Rustin Kelly, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like I didn't really think about it. Like I grew up in the South and I had a lot of friends that were into the scene, but none of them were really like country people. And then, State Champs has Mitchell Tenpenny on their new album. Mitchell Tenpenny's a country singer, and Hardy, who's a big country star right now, is on the Bill Murray album, the new Bill Murray album. And I'm like, this is really interesting to see this like cross blending of like country and emo and there's this guy Rashad who did a track. He did a remix. I'm sorry, it's his song, and Spencer from Ice Nine did a remix with him. So it's like I'm like, whoa. So now not only have we blown past like the like emo pop punk blending with these other like all these other genres that kind of make sense. Now we're blending it with country, which
no, that's mind blowing. And it's funny because two of my buddies that were big emo fans that are now country stars are on the way.
Yeah.
It's Chris Lane. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a big country guy right now.
Okay.
And he's a huge, emo fan. And Tyler Rich is another dude.
Okay.
And I think Tyler Rich was in an emo band. Now he's like crushing it in the country scene. I mean, he's got These Knuckles Break Before They Bleed tattooed on him. Like he like OG Emery lyrics. Like he's a real OG emo fan. But like what is it about the country scene that like these guys were in scene bands and they're now country stars?
Yeah. It's like is Tyler, now I could be totally wrong on this, but is he from the band Lakeview?
Tyler Rich?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not. I don't know. There's a country band called Lakeview, and the dudes in the band used to be in like scene bands. And
wait, sorry, you're saying there's a country band called Lakeview.
The country band called Lakeview.
No, so Tyler Rich is just his own name.
It's his own thing. Okay, cool.
Still Waters. Yeah,
my mistake. There's this country duo called Lakeview, and both the guys in the bands, both the guys were in bands before. One of the guys was in a hardcore band on Face Down Records for like years, and it's just like I'm like, this is so crazy. Like these guys are making like, I mean, heavy country music that like bumps, like that's really good, and they're old hardcore and scene kids. It's surprising. It's interesting.
It's funny how they went there, and there's this meme that went around, and someone said, "Holy shit, country's just farm emo," and there's some truth behind it because of the emotional lyrics, of being heartbroken and this and that, and like finding love on a farm, but in the emo scene, it's finding love at a fucking show, like. So like I could see some similarity, but it is really fun. Like that's the weirdest crossover ever because country is so far from emo to me, but somehow
I know you
found its way to work together.
Dude, you wouldn't think, but it works, man. On that Dirt Emo Volume 1 album that Rustin Kelly does, I mean, he covers My Kim, he covers Taylor Swift, he covers Wheatus, he does Teenage Dirtbag. He's got two versions of Teenage Dirtbag, but he does an old not Johnny Cash's wife was June Carter Cash, the Carter family, an old Carter family song. Took me a minute to follow that trail down.
Yeah.
That like when you listen to the way he does it and you're just like, holy crap, like this is emo music. Like the lyrics of the song were written in like the early 1940s or something like that. And it sounds like it's all about love lost. It's all about it, bury me under the weeping willow tree. Like, and I'm like, I 100% could hear Chris Carrabba singing this.
Oh, easily. I'm looking at his page now. So it looks like I'm seeing Screaming Infidelities.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Teenage Dirtbag.
Yes.
All Too Well. Okay, sick. I gotta check. Yeah. So someone else told me about this guy. I gotta check him out. Yeah. I'm shocked that I haven't listened to his stuff yet.
Dude, he's awesome. Highly recommend. Let's see what else. What haven't we covered? You got Emo's Not Dead. You got the album. People can check out the Kickstarter, so that way they can contribute. And you're just pre-ordering the album. Essentially, you're pre-ordering the album. That money is contributing to the project, and it's going to be up for another month or so.
Yeah, no. So it's 60 days, right? Essentially, our initial goal to bare minimum to just make the album, to make the music with a dope producer. Obviously, it's expensive, right? So our goal was $50,000, and we met that goal today. However, anything that goes past it is going to be supporting making a music video for each song, getting all the features paid to be on it. Like, we want to get some of these legendary, like, if I can and we have the money, I want to get a feature on every single song and like make it like a DJ Khaled record, but emo, right?
Yes.
Feature,
yes.
like feature.
Another
heavy. Another one, dude.
I don't know if, are we allowed to say that? Is that trademarked? We ain't get in trouble.
Right, we might get in trouble. Take that out. Bleep it out.
Bleep that out. So, yeah.
And then, you know, if we get enough backers, then we want to go on tour.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what people don't understand is, as an independent artist, not with, like, I have no label. I don't have the financial help. So the only way that I fund this is through my fans. That's it.
Yeah.
Our merch, whenever we sell merch, the funds from the merch just makes the next video, or the funds from the merch is how I made a letter to Ashley and that music video. And like, it's expensive, dude. Like, it cost me $30,000 to shoot the letter to Ashley video, and I had to pay for it from like what I saved from my merch sales. So like, a lot of people don't understand how pricey it could be. So our goal is, if we make enough to, you know, people fund the album, we're not asking for free money. We're saying, if you believe in this project, then pre-order the album. It's $10, and your $10 will go to making the album, and you'll get the full digital download as soon as it comes out. And all our Kickstarter fans will have first couple months with the album, like the physical copy. And then there's different tiers. Like, one tier is like, you get the album, you get the vinyl, and you get an exclusive Your Broken Hero t-shirt or hoodie. So like, there's a bunch of tiers there. Nice. We also, which is wild, there's our final tier is a $7,500 tier, right? Okay. And it's just like, I'm not kidding, it's just kind of like a tier that I didn't even expect anyone to book, because it's like, let me just read it for you, just so I can share what it is, because I have a story behind it.
Okay.
Let's see, back this project. Where is that tier? Okay, so the $7,500 tier that we didn't expect, it's called the Diamond Backer. Holy shit, are you insane, right? And essentially what you do is you get to be featured in a future Felt Emo Might Delete video. You get to record gang vocals on our album. You get a custom Emo's Not Dead Epiphone guitar. You get your name in the album booklet. You get a personalized thank you video from me, a hoodie, a tee, a vinyl, a CD. Like, you get all that shit, right? But let me see. I've lost you. Where are you right now? There you are. So I get a DM from this dude, and he goes, let me find it. I get a DM from this dude, and he says, "Hope you don't mind me being one of the bigger backers." And he sends me a screenshot of his $7,500
snap
package. That
he did it,
bro. It was almost there as like a joke, and he did it. He's a maniac, dude. He's a savage.
That's so awesome.
I was like, holy shit, bro. And he has like 1 million followers. His content is he's just like he was a wild dude. He does comedy. He owns a coffee company, and he just wrote me back. He's like, dude, I used to be in an emo band. I love what you're doing. I'm supporting. And like, that made my day. I literally saw this 30 minutes ago, right before this call. So I got like, I'm so fired up.
That's amazing, man. It's just it's evidence of people wanting to contribute to their community, to their culture. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of this is what we grew up with, and what you're doing touches that. And people can, you know, pull up YouTube. They can pull up your Instagram. They can watch all the hilarious videos. They could pull up Spotify and listen to Your Broken Hero. And there's so much about it that I think just like touches those teenage hearts. You know?
Yeah, dude, it does. And you know what? And I was truly touched when I went on the cruise and saw how much this meant to all the fans. Yeah. And like, I didn't really expect so many people to stop and actually thank me for like putting together something like for our people, because they're like, I never would have thought I would be on a cruise with all my favorite bands and my people, my community, where like, we're all there for the love of all these bands. And like, it was just so damn magical. And I even had so many people say like, man, like, I was like in a dark place, and your content just was the content that I missed and that I kind of needed. And like, I hadn't heard that song in the last in years, but you reminded me, and it like gave me this nostalgic feeling. So like it's so special what I've been able to, how many people I've been able to reach and how many people truly appreciate it. Like it's pretty damn cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. I feel good,
man. Listen, I'm a grateful fan. You know, I love the Emos Not Dead videos. I love the music. I'm very excited about the album. Like, there's so much going on. It's so cool. I'm so happy to see you, you know, accomplishing all this, achieving so much, because you're such a cool dude, Matt. And
Thank you,
so
man.
people like to see good people succeed. You know.
Yeah, no, bro. I appreciate that. I love to ask you a question. What was the first video that a friend sent you or that you discovered from Emos Not Dead?
The first one was, it wasn't the all-time low with the underpants, but that's my favorite. Okay. That's easily my favorite one. Yeah. It was one of the ones in the park.
Okay. Twilight was in the, so we did a Twilight.
No, it was before that. It was before that. It was the dancing one where you dance fight the one from Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Got it. Okay.
I think that was the first one. I think.
Okay, got it.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. But I also like the one with the Tony Hawk one is hilarious. I actually got to talk to Pierre from Simple Plan like last year, and I asked him about that. And he talked about just like having a really good time doing that video with you. And
dude, that one was so fun. I still can't believe that Tony Hawk was in a video with me because
oh man, yeah.
I don't know, like Pierre became my buddy because of Emos Not Dead. So it was very like, hey, do you want to be in a video? He's like, hell yeah, I'm down. He's been in like 2 so far, and he's
the other one, the Sandlot one.
Yeah, he was in the Sandlot one and then the Tony Hawk one, and then I cast him first for we did I'd Do Anything, I think, for the Tony Hawk one. We cast Pierre first, and I was like, since this is going to be at a skate park, is there any way to make Tony Hawk your son in this? And then I literally, I don't even know how I got a hold of him, but I reached out to somebody who put me in touch with his assistant, and his assistant was an Emos Not Dead fan.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I'm making Tony be in this video. And I'm like, so then he did it. He showed up for like 30 minutes and he did his lines, and like, it was pretty epic. It was like, dude, I'm literally like a kid living my dream, because not that long ago, I was working at a restaurant, and then I started doing social media, and I was able to, quit the restaurant job and focus on social media. Yeah. And then now I'm literally just living my dream and getting like some of my heroes to be in all these videos, and it's pretty crazy. It's awesome. Crazy.
Well, you're very creative, and I know that it's a lot of hard work, but you're pulling it off, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate you supporting and being a fan.
No, 100%, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today. It's been awesome, and I'm grateful. And everybody knows where they can go. Emos Not Dead, and YouTube, Instagram. Check out the Kickstarter, all that good stuff, and keep supporting Emos Not Dead so that we can see more. We just want more. Give us more, Matt.
I got you guys. We got a podcast in the works. We got the full album now in the works. We got the album funded, so that's going to be coming out. Music videos. I'm going to keep going. The fans have spoken, so I'm going to keep giving the fans what they want.
You're killing it, man. Thank you so much.